What's going on, everybody? It's Cody. Welcome back to the channel. Just want to take a second and thank everyone who's been subscribing. Over 200 subscribers. Just crazy to me. I really can't believe it. I just wanted to do this for fun and help as many people out as I can. And it's crazy how fast it's grown. Also, I've got a little bit of a head cold, so if I have to take a couple breaks or some cough breaks, I apologize in advance. But we almost had another Queen of the Court seat tonight, guys. I don't even want to show you the lineup. I lost the Queen of the Court contest by 0.25 points. I'm heartbroken. It's a bummer, but I'm not as upset as I thought I was going to be. Aerial Powers, I was the only one in this contest that played her. Obviously, it's a small field. Only one that played her. She had 2 turnovers, and one of them, I don't know if it was her fault, but it is what it is. I mean, and then they actually credited Aaliyah Edwards with the block and took it away from her and gave it to Dolson, who the guy who beat me by 0.25 points played, and that ended up being the deciding factor. Obviously, it sucks, but when I won my Queen of the Court ticket, I won because Lexi Brown hit a 3 at the end of the game that was meaningless. So you win some, you lose some. I still won a little bit of money. $98 entry fee, won $152. The ticket to the Queen of the Court contest would have been cooler, would have been my second one, but easily cashed on the main slate with this line. Was really high on Sabrina after we got the news that Slate was going to be out. She let me down again. Both times that Slate has been out, she's had absolute floor games. Some of her worst games of the season. Obviously, Kayla Thornton was just absolute massive chalk, especially here. I'm at 100% for her and Stewie in the Queen of the Court contest. Over 50%, both of them in the main contest. I was high on Alicia Gray. The matchup, I mentioned it in the video last night. I was really high on her. She got hurt and missed like the last 4 minutes. Really thought it was actually going to help me with powers, but Aaliyah Edwards, we'll talk about her shortly for tomorrow night's slate. But she absolutely nuked 52 fantasy points. She went crazy. But let's look at the odds for this 4-gamer, and then we'll get into team-by-team breakdown because it's a big one. Fever at Mystics, the Toilet Bowl, 1-point spread, over under 161.5. Storm Aces, that's going to be a fun game. 8-point spread, over under 167.5. Lynx Mercury, 5.5-point spread, over under 163.5. Wings Sparks, 2.5-point spread, over under 161. Sparks are looking bad. Anyway, one game starting at 6:30, the other 3 starting at 9 Central Time. 25K to first. You love to see it. I really hope these contests stay with big prize pools when NBA ends, or the nights that there's no NBA games. We'll start on the Indiana side. Caitlin Clark, 11K. That seems a bit much for me. But I will say, if you look, they played 11 games in 20 days. Exhaustion was absolutely setting in. They've been off since Sunday. She might come out and put up a big score. I would not be surprised. I'll have some shares for her in tournaments. If you're playing one lineup, probably wouldn't play her. The price is really steep on her, and I think that will keep her ownership down. Nalissa, 8,900. Absolutely no issues playing her. 8,900 is still too cheap. Since Fagbenley's been hurt, the past 3 games, she's seen 33, 35, 31 minutes, and she is playing well north of a fantasy point per minute player ever since Fagbenley got hurt. So absolutely love her. Usage has been what I kind of expected it to be all season before her and Christy Sides had a stare off, or whatever you want to call it. She's been really good. No issues playing her either format, cash or tournaments. Boston, much more of a tournament play. Upside not near as high as Nalissa. She's just not shooting the ball very much. She's fine. 8,700 seems a bit steep, but she's going to have to play quite a bit, assuming no foul trouble. Washington plays bigs. Indiana lacks bigs, so it kind of goes hand in hand. Kelsey Mitchell, 7,100, absolute pure tournament play. Usage is there. She's putting up a ton of shots. She is absolutely scoring dependent. She scored 21 real-life points and 22 fantasy points this last time out. That's not ideal. She offers little to no peripheral upside whatsoever. She is strictly scoring dependent. She's playing big minutes. If you think she goes out and shoots 60% from the field, you can play her. She'll pay off 7,100. If she doesn't, she could hurt you really bad. Christy Wallace, 5,800. Kind of just there. Minutes, she's going to play around 20. Has upside to play more if she's playing well. They're just playing a lot of guards. They are rotating that spot in a lot, and it makes me weary on playing her, Wheeler, Samuelson, Hull, Berger. All of them are okay tournament plays. I mean, you look at Wheeler here, she played 18 minutes this last time out. Samuelson, just I wouldn't personally play Samuelson. I just don't think she could ever possibly get there. Saxton, with Aaliyah Boston leaving early, she still only played 3 minutes. I can't go there. Grace saw 13 minutes. She's probably my favorite of the bench guards because she's active and getting peripherals when she's on the floor. I just worry about her minutes. I don't know what to expect. If she's the first off the bench and plays well, she may get extended a little bit. But it's really Wallace, Wheeler, and Berger. You just never know. I would probably take shots on Berger because she's by far the cheapest, but I don't feel comfortable with really any of them. On the Washington side, they did play tonight. The game hasn't been posted yet. I have the box score here. Atkins, 26 minutes, shot 4 of 12. She had a rough game. We got to talk about Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, 29 minutes, almost 30. Shot 3 of 7. 11 real-life points. She did get some peripheral stats. She didn't play great, but the minutes being at 30, that's telling. Van Loo, another really, really bad shooting night. She's a great passer. 0 of 5 from 3. Just not someone I can really ever recommend. Dolson was in massive foul trouble. Obviously, beat me for the Queen of the Court ticket, but it is what it is. Samuelson, 28 minutes, shot 1 of 6, put 3 fantasy points up. She got some rebounds and assists, so she didn't absolutely just put up a 5 bomb. Jade, only 10 minutes off the bench, did play well in the time that I watched. So that's something you can consider. There's not very much good value. If SWK is going to play 15 plus minutes like she has been, with upside to play 28, and she just played 30 tonight. 4,900 seems okay. She is pretty scoring dependent in most slates, so you just have to know that before you click her. Melbourne at 4K, she's fine. I'm not like thrilled to play her, but she's going to play double-digit minutes and could get extended if she's playing well. Dolson and Hines Allen both under 6K. They're okay. I would assume that Austin is out again. She hasn't played yet this week. If she's in, I would have zero interest in Dolson and Hines Allen. It would lower my interest in Edwards, but she's played really well. When she starts, she's getting the Austin role. She's being super active on offense. She's a great rebounder. You do have a little bit of foul concerns. She has been foul prone. She was really foul prone in college, but would really like her at 6,500. It's a great matchup, assuming Austin is out. Be more of a contrarian play if Austin plays, because I would imagine she would go back to the bench and her minutes would not be as secure. Really, all all that I can say about Washington. This first game in general, I don't have much interest in. When you look at these other games that we have on the slate, it's really hard to justify putting a bunch of pieces in this game. Moving on to the next game, Seattle at the Aces. On the Seattle side, Lloyd 10-9, massive ceiling. Obviously, she's reached it really just one time this season, only over 40 in 2 games. A bunch of mid-30s, but this 61 game here, shot 12 of 24. She's just not shot the ball that well when she's put up a bunch of shots. I mean, 5 of 17 this last time out, 13 peripheral stats. The peripherals have been up and down with her, but if she's going to pile them on and put up a big scoring game, this might be the game for Joel Lloyd, because this game is going to be played at a breakneck pace. The Aces want to run as fast and play as fast and hard as they can. I love Joel Lloyd in this spot. Massive upside, tournament winning upside, 25K winning upside in Joel Lloyd. She'll be extremely low owned because there's a lot of really good mid-range plays we're going to be talking about soon. Ezzy 10-6. Don't mind her. The price is getting a little steep, especially with Nneka back. She's fine. Should match up with Stokes. It's a good matchup for her on the offensive end. Not really worried about her getting in foul trouble guarding Stokes, because Stokes just isn't going to be doing much on offense. So don't mind her as a contrarian spend up. Nneka 10-3, as one of the most consistent players in the WNBA. Don't mind her. Price seems about fair for her. She can pay that salary off, no problem. A really great cash play. Skylar Diggins-Smith is really starting to come on. I would expect, if this game is competitive, like I think it will be, she's going to push for this 35 minutes. Big upside with her. It's going to be fast-paced. I've mentioned it ad nauseum. I love this game in general. Skylar Diggins, 9,300. The price is still a little bit too cheap in my opinion. I love the spot for her. I love her for tournaments. Russell, 5,800. No interest from me with Nneka back. Just seems a little bit overpriced. Whitcomb, Horston, really just hard to trust. I mean, Whitcomb, 17 minutes, 4 fantasy points. If she hits her threes, she can have a decent game, but at 5,700, the minutes just aren't secure. I can't trust the minutes. I thought Horston would play more this last time out. Only saw 14 minutes, and some of those minutes come in the blowout. She's fine. If she gets extended, she has a good ceiling. I love her game. She plays great defense. I just don't know why they don't play her more. Vivian's 26 minutes. She's been 20 minutes or above the past 3 games. Now, obviously, at 5K, if you play her and she has one of these games where she plays 13 minutes and puts up 8 fantasy points, that would suck. Or 13 minutes and 5 fantasy points. She's been better of late. They've been leaving her out there a little bit more. She's looking more comfortable with the team. Don't mind her as a value option. You just have to know it is as gross can get, and she could get pulled really quick and burn you immediately. Joyner Holmes come in fresh off the streets and played 20 minutes. Tilted me up because I thought those minutes would go to Horston. 4,100. I don't expect her to see that much run with Nneka back. But if you think she's going to see mid-teens minutes at 4,100, by all means play her. I'm going to take a little bit of a safer approach and see what the minutes look like after we see everyone healthy and on the floor together. On the Aces side, I don't even have words for Asia Wilson anymore. She's almost unfadable at this point. 34 minutes, 68 fantasy points. Like, it's ridiculous. The woman is insane. Like, she is on a completely different planet the way she's playing. She is running away with the MVP. There's nobody in the same stratosphere as her right now. The games are staying a lot more competitive. Last year they blew out a lot of teams. And Becky said this year, had they been blowing teams out, she's going to play Asia her normal run. because she felt like last year that's where she lost the MVP. She lost out on minutes, lost out on stats. But they haven't even had to worry about that because every game has been close, and she's just been crushing every game. I mean, over 60 in 3, over 50 in 2. She's a walking 50 burger, and the absolute lock for cash. I think there's merit to fade her in tournaments and hope for a floor game like this 47. It's crazy that 47 is a floor game, but maybe you hope she gets in foul trouble. I don't know. If I was making 150 lineups, I really don't know how many A'ja Wilson lines I would have. It would probably be in the triple digits. Jackie Young 10-4. Price did go up a little bit again. I can't believe she was under 10K. She was under the weather, but still played 35 minutes, played well. Peripheral stats are just uber consistent with her. 13, 11, 15 in the last 3. I mean, 7, that's like her floor for peripherals. 16 here. She has good scoring upside. Really like her. She's one of the safer plays. You just know what you're getting out of her. She's great cash game play. Kelsey Plum, 9,700. Played 37 minutes. Really just scoring dependent. I hate to be that way, but she has gotten to where she's really, really scoring dependent. Jackie Young is just eating into all the peripheral stats, and A'ja's just dominating. So Plum, more of a contrarian spend-up tournament play. A good one at that because she has 40-plus point fantasy upside. I don't mind her, obviously. Alicia Clark, 6,900. She's going to play around 30 minutes. Is fine if she hits her threes. She can grab some boards and dish out some assists. This last game, 1-1-1-1, the good old Tony Snell line. She did have 9 points, though. Not that big of a ceiling just because she's not asked to do a lot, but fine if you're looking for a cash game floor option. You know what you're going to get out of her. Tip Hayes played 21 minutes in her first game. Had a really, really great game. 26.5 fantasy points. 6,800 is fine. She's absolutely murdered the Money Martin role. Martin is not going to get to play near as much. I would expect Hayes to play around 20 minutes a night off the bench. Obviously, 10 peripherals. Probably don't expect that going forward. I would expect her to score. I could see her getting 18 to 24 fantasy points pretty much on a nightly basis. Maybe bottom end around 15. Price is okay. I thought they did a really good job at pricing her to where not everyone would just insta-play her had she been the flat men. No issues playing her. Not someone you need to prioritize by any means. Kia Stokes, 5,700, going to play low 20s minutes. Offers next to nothing on the offensive end. Need her to get blocks and rebounds for her to ever put up any kind of respectable fantasy game. This 26-point fantasy game will be her ceiling for the season. She just does not shoot the ball much unless she grabs an offensive rebound and no one tries to stop her from scoring. Kate Martin, 5,400. Like I said, minutes are going to go down with Tiffany Hayes in. You can't trust her. Her minutes just are not safe anymore. 5,400 is just way too much for her. Absolutely no interest in Colson or Cannon. Gustafson, the minutes just aren't there. Sub 10 minutes in the past 4, only 6 against Dallas. They're going small and playing A'ja at the 5. And when A'ja needs rest, they bring Stokes back in. So it is what it is. I love Gustafson. I wish she would get more run, but we can only do what we can do. On to the next game, Dallas at the Sparks. On the Dallas side, Arike at the top, 10-5. Played 37 minutes, shot under 40%, but the attempts were there. Big peripherals, and if she starts getting 10-plus peripheral stats every game, oh boy, she has 70-point upside. For when a game she puts together a good shooting game. Here it is right here. 64, and she had a good shooting game. She scored 40. That's a great shooting game, probably the most she's going to score all season. But 11 peripheral stats. and 4 steals. She has 60-plus point upside at 10.5. I have no issues with her in tournaments. My only worry is the Sparks are bad, and they very well could get absolutely torched out of this game. This is a nuke-worthy spot for Enrique. I will definitely have shares of her. I was really high on Big T this last time out against the Aces, played 30 minutes. Kalani Brown did get in immediate foul trouble. She come in and immediately picked up 2 fouls. Big T come right back in and absolutely smashed. 14 points, 15 boards, 40 bomb. Price is still below 9K. She did not have a good game against them earlier this season, but I do think that it could be another Big T game if she really wants to score. Billings was massive chalk, absolutely busted hard. I don't know really where to place Billings. I don't know if it's like a reunion tour or if she's on a redemption tour or what. She's had good games, but then she looks like the Billings of old, the Billings that got waived to start this season from the Sparks. It is a revenge game, if you want to buy into that. She did absolutely fry them earlier this year, 42 fantasy points. She's fine. I probably won't go back to her, and she'll absolutely pop off. But I would have shares in tournaments if I was playing a bunch of lines. Maddie, 7,500. The ceiling really hasn't been there besides these 2 games here, 43 and 32. She's going to be more in the mid-20s. She's not going to get you very many peripheral stats on most nights. The nights that she does is the nights that she can really boost into the low 30s, maybe even get you 40 fantasy points. So the upside is there for her. Really just depends if she capitalizes on it. Uzan, 6,900, seems priced about fair. She should play big minutes. She did only see 26 this last game against the Aces. Shot 1 of 8, 0 of 5 from 3. Decent peripherals. She's not going to blow you away with anything. She's just not asked to do a lot. Fine. Not someone I'm ever going to prioritize, though. No interest in anyone down here. Sheldon did get a little bit of extra run. 9 minutes, 1.5 fantasy point. Can't recommend her. Kalani Brown, 12 minutes. Just if you think Big T gets in foul trouble and you're making a bunch of lines, you can have Kalani Brown maybe in 1 or 2. No interest in Suarez. She played 14 minutes, but her minutes are absolutely not secure. Can't be trusted. On the Spark side, this team drives me crazy. I don't really know even what to say. Wnba, obviously, really the only play that is even close to being a priority. She's just playing massive minutes. Even in a blowout, she saw 37 minutes. She's putting up close to 40 fantasy points a game with 50 fantasy point upside. Have no issues at all playing her. Her usage is safe. She's by far their best player. Brink, 8,400, only played 16 minutes because of massive foul trouble. Shocker there. If she stays out of foul trouble, she can have a really good game like she did against Dallas earlier this season. 34 fantasy points, 21 real-life points. She was in foul trouble in that game. If she can stay out of foul trouble and they actually play her, like she only played 24 minutes against Dallas earlier this season. Her ceiling for minutes is probably 30. I would tend to believe it's going to be more in like the 24 to 26 range. Assuming no foul trouble. If she has foul trouble, it could be in the teens like it was this last game. Clarendon is back. She's going to play 20 to 25 minutes. Not ever someone I'm really that high on. Just never does much on the offensive end. She can get you some peripheral stats, but at 7K, there's just much better plays around her. Nurse shot 2 of a million in 18 minutes. She got limited because she wasn't playing well. 9.5 fantasy points. Has some upside if the 3 ball is falling. She's going to shoot it either way. Her usage is safe. She's putting up close to 10 shots a game. Over the last 4, she's been in double figures in every one of them. Rakia Jackson got the start this last game, only saw 14 minutes. Really hard to trust her. Ari McDonald, 18 minutes off the bench, shot 1 of 10. The peripheral stats have been there, which is not something I was expecting with her. 6K, just too pricey for someone coming off the bench that is mostly scoring dependent for the better part of her career. Lexi Brown, 5,500, played 20 minutes off the bench, shot 1 of 5. You could take shots on her if you think maybe they put her back in the starting lineup. I don't think they will. She's just not shot the ball well of late. I'm really, really leery on playing really anyone on this team besides Wnba. You can take shots on some of the cheaper ones for tournaments. Lee, 14 minutes off the bench this last game, 11 fantasy points. If you think Brink gets in foul trouble, 4K for Lee. She can win you $25,000. I will have shares of her because I'm making quite a bit of lines. Everyone else, not much interest. I mean, Zai Cook, only 3 minutes. Ray Burrell, 23 minutes because of the massive blowout. You can play her if you think she's going to get extended or if you think the game blows out. She's very likely to only get 1 run, 1 rotation. This game she got 2. That's completely up to you. I personally won't have her. Talbot got extended because of the blowout. She can get a second rotation as well if she's playing well. Obviously, she did not play well this last game. I just hate this team. I don't want to play really anyone but Wnba. Maybe some shares of Lee and Brink for tournaments. On the last game of the slate, Minnesota at Phoenix. On the Minnesota side, Fee at the top, 11-1. I mean, if Asia's not from another planet this season, we're talking about Fee as probably the MVP of the season to start. She's been as consistent as you would want your star to be. I mean, over 40 in every game but one, and that game was a massive blowout when she only played 26 minutes. Every game she's been over 30 minutes. She's been over 40 fantasy points. She's been over 50 once. She's been over 60 twice. I love this matchup for her. She's a great spin up. I love playing Fee because she's always going to get the usage, and her rebound numbers are really consistent this season. Love her. She should be a very high owned, but it's warranted. Kayla McBride, 8,300. Only saw 26 minutes because of the blowout. She's pretty scoring dependent, but a lot like Maddie, if she grabs the peripheral stats and posts a big scoring game, she can break a slate. 8,300 seems about right. The matchup is really good. Courtney Williams, 21 minutes. The game did blow out, but that's 3 straight games right around this 20-minute mark. She's going to get you the peripherals. Worry about the scoring. She's fine if you think this game stays competitive and she plays close to this 30-minute mark. Would really like the price on her. Alana Smith, 7,900. Price seems a bit too cheap. 27 minutes, 27 fantasy points. She's about a fantasy point per minute player. I could see her pushing for 27 to 30 minutes and pushing for 27 to 30 fantasy points. Don't mind her. She does have some foul concerns, especially if someone is back that we're going to talk about soon. Carrollton is fine, 5,800, played 32 minutes. She hit all of her threes, had a really good game. If you think she hits her threes, stays out of foul trouble, and shoots the ball well, maybe even grabs some rebounds, she can post a really good score. It's just really hard to predict because 12, 16, 6, she's not been very good of late. It all depends on if the shot's falling. Dorka, really been consistent since coming back. Besides this last game, she only saw 11 minutes. Been in double figures in fantasy points. 5,400 seems priced about right. Her ceiling's just capped because she's coming off the bench. I think there's better value plays, but she's fine if you land on her. Zand played 14 minutes. She played pretty well. I mean, she's out there to shoot the 3 ball, and if it falls, she's going to pay off her value salary. Have no issues if you land on her. Really no interest in really anyone else here. I mean, Heidemann got extended because of the blowout. She's not played well of late. at all. Ipopa is okay. I personally can't bring myself to play her. If you want to take chances on her, go for it. I personally, I won't have any. No interest in Peely or Kone. On the Phoenix side, Kalia Copper, 9,800. Had a better game this last time out. Still only shot 6 of 18. The usage is what you love to see with her. It's just really consistent. Price is solid. I will have shares of her in tournaments. Natasha Cloud, 9,500. She has big peripheral upside. If the scoring's there, she can post a really high score. Great tournament play. DT, strictly a tournament play. Always say it with her. If she shoots the ball well, she can have a good game. If she doesn't, she's going to absolutely kill you. This last game, she was 8,400, put up 12 fantasy points and 7 real-life points, and absolutely killed you. The game before, 31 real-life points, 40 fantasy points. Winner. That's all you need to know about DT. Let's talk about BG. She is questionable and has looked, in practice videos that I've seen, looks to be getting around really well. I don't know if she's going to play Friday or not, or if they're going to hold her out for another game. If she plays, I would definitely expect a limit. And at 8,200, she's probably not playable on a 4-game slate. But I would expect, if she does play, to play around 20 minutes. And she's very capable of putting up a big score at 8,200. Worth some shots in tournaments for sure. Assuming she's not on like a 12-minute limit. Would absolutely kill Natasha Mack. Would have zero interest in her. Really not too much interest in her anyway. She's just not been very good of late. I mean, I understand she's been a fantasy point per minute player, but her minutes are, I mean, here you go, 22 minutes. 22 minutes. If she gets extended, yes, it's nice. She could get you those 4, 5, 6 extra fantasy points. I just don't trust her. She's had some really low games, and she would absolutely be completely out of play if BG is back. Sophie, 7,200, would be completely out of play if Rebecca Allen is back, and she has been upgraded to questionable from out. I'm expecting her to be back. Probably not someone I have much interest in. She's 5,900, but they're going to play Sophie quite a bit. They're going to play Sugg quite a bit. I just don't think Rebecca's going to get enough minutes to really even post a good score, because she's practically really scoring dependent. I mean, she's going to grab a couple boards, but for the most part, I mean, this opening night game against the Aces, she put up 14 real-life points and 7 rebounds. And here in her next 4 games, she put up 11 rebounds. So really hard to trust her rebound numbers. Would have absolutely zero interest in anyone else on this team if BG and Rebecca Allen are back. If BG is out and Allen is in, I would probably still have no interest in any of them, because they have no issues playing Beck Allen at the 4, so they wouldn't need Harrigan or Birch at all, as if they've contributed very much at all lately. Anyway, Dixon would see a little bit of run as a backup 5 if BG is out, but really excited for this slate. I really hope somebody I know wins 25K. As always, if you guys enjoy this content, leave a like on the video. It helps out the channel, and I really appreciate it. And we'll see you for the next one. Good luck.